you have 100% growth, but that just started with this curve. And I'm just wondering, what was that ride like, and what were the challenges of growing something that quickly in a kind of a constrained profitability environment?
So it's been an awful lot of fun, for sure, and given the 4 years that preceded it, or actually 5, because 05 is when we launched, I don't take a day of this for granted. But we more or less kind of launched the website, and it just kind of happened. I mean, we certainly did what we could to fuel viral growth, and we have, on an ongoing basis, have spent a lot of energy and time interacting with listeners and trying to sort of fuel that. But the blogosphere and sort of chat rooms and forums, etc., really were our marketing engine. And I think within a matter of weeks, we were adding thousands of people a day. And I think within 6 months or 9 months, it was maybe tens of thousands. And it was all by word of mouth. And it continues to this day. Pandora's never really advertised the service. Like you said, once consumers become aware of it, in this day and age, if you love something, it's so easy to share with so many people that you get this incredible viral explosion.
I mean, our office was just on fire. People couldn't believe it. They thought it was fundamentally more important than Napster because of the discovery process, right?
Well, I think that one of the primary reasons Pandora has grown so fast is because it does help people discover new music. It's easy to use. That's maybe the very most important thing. But the reason someone gets excited enough about it to share with a friend is they find a new band they love. And I think everybody relates to the power of that experience. You know, if you find something new, you get lit up about it, and you got to tell everybody you know to try it. And I think that's what fueled the growth.
And can you explain the impact when Apple launched the App Store? And you know, that's certainly going to be a challenging relationship moving forward. But I'm just wondering, that was a huge rocket boost to the platform, wasn't it?
Yeah. So there is sort of Pandora, I guess.
These unsophisticated people all of a sudden get a sophisticated device with a great service and an easy way to access it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we often say at Pandora that our best interface is the iPhone, not the desktop, because an iPhone simplifies it even more, or smartphone writ large. And when we launched on the iPhone, it was July '07. Ironically, the same month that we got the disastrous ruling out of Congress. We were adding about 30 to 40,000 new people a day on the service, and it doubled overnight.
And so, how do you handle that load? I mean, what was going on the back end of that?
It was a fire drill. I mean, from the day we launched, it was like that. It was like FedExing hardware into our colo. Well, we actually weren't even colo. We were in a closet in our office, and like it was like building a plane while you're flying it. You know, we were growing that fast, and then we sort of lit up a colo in San Francisco, and then there's a big process of turning that on and transferring over, and we were every day there was a question like, should we meter listening? Like, we're getting so close to kind of just collapsing under this, but we kept just far enough ahead of it, and hired systems engineers as fast as we could, and eventually kind of got ahead of it. And now we stream more hours of music a month than YouTube streams hours of video. So it's a colossal amount of data. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was exciting. It was nothing like seeing something just take off beyond your wildest dreams. There was a lot of nervous and tension in the engineers, but it was kind of good nervousness and tension.
And can you speak now to and this gets a little thick into the weeds, but this complete insane regulatory environment where Congress laid down legislation and the royalty board took forever to rule, and the rulings to me were, this never made any sense and still don't make sense and need to be fixed. But explain just the basic regulatory structure you're now operating under and how that came about and what those challenges have been and what outlet in the future may be there to level that playing field a little.
Yeah, so
this is 60% of their cost of doing business, roughly.
Probably to Mike's point, the most significant sort of economic dimension of our business is the royalties we pay, and it's the defining characteristic of internet radio. That as a consequence of our royalty structure, we pay a lot more than any other form of radio. So it's this odd patchwork of legislation that's grown up over the years that where we pay 60%, satellite pays around 10%, cable, so the music, the upper stations on your cable box pay about 15%, and broadcast radio is exempt from the performance royalty. We all pay composers about evenly, but on the performance side, really reflecting kind of relative lobbying power in Washington, frankly. One industry is treated differently, and so on the one hand, we're huge fans of statutory licensing because we essentially sign one piece of paper that gives us permission to play all the music that we want, just one agreement. We don't have to directly license it with anybody. So we're fans of that, but it's governed by a 3-judge panel that meets every 5 years to determine our rates, and every now and then, actually most of the time, they come up with crazy rulings.
Yeah, and the National Association